Yeah, excited for it.
We are live from Saskatchewan. Shout out Prairies. I have the pleasure of welcoming Josh on, aka Lazyboy Media, all the way from Saskatchewan, man. So thanks for taking the time to jump on.
No worries, man. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, how is Saskatchewan these days?
It's calm. Honestly, it's a little. I think the cold has died down now, so it's just like it's extreme winds, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the winds here can push up to about 80 kilometers, like some days,
Mm.
which is
It's cold in
truly
Toronto, man.
brutal.
It's cold in
Oh,
Toronto.
it is.
Yeah, it
That's
is. It is. Were
that's
you
that's.
like born? Were you born in Saskatchewan?
No, no. So I was born in Nigeria and then
Okay,
moved to Alberta,
right on,
where I kind of did like I think high school and then university, and
right on.
then I only just moved here about a couple months ago for work. So
Okay. And
yeah,
what do you
still
do now?
getting.
Tell the
Uh,
people what you do.
so I handle. I'm a social media coordinator for the Saskatchewan RoughRiders.
Nice.
So I handle all our social media. Trying to
You're the
gather
boss.
content.
You're the boss.
Yeah, almost a little bit. I wouldn't even say like boss, but I think it's just
You
fun to
are.
like collaborate with like
All right.
I think more of like our digital media folks. And now that I don't have to kind of record as much,
Yeah.
it's a little. I would say it's a little different, but it's a little like nice on my side just because yeah, now I can collaborate with our photographers, graphic
Right.
designers, like
Right.
videographers
So
into pretty
you
much.
gotta plan out with everyone, like what's the content.
Yeah, so pretty
Uh,
much see what like the way I go about it is I kind of see what our fans like and kind of what we're lacking
yeah.
on our socials, and then I kind of just either request from our videographers or our graphic designers like, hey, can you
Yeah.
guys look up something quick for me? If it's
Yeah.
something that I can do myself, just because I know how to like edit videos and like use kind of Photoshop and like base level stuff, I'll kind of do those
Right.
to like make life easier
Yeah.
on kind of the rest of our design or digital media team.
Ah.
But yeah, so just pretty much trying to make everyone's life easier, and then being able to collaborate with the rest of like the
Wow.
gang is pretty much nice.
What an operation, eh?
Yeah, honestly,
It's an operation.
um, I think we're one of the largest social media teams in the league.
Yeah. Okay. Right on.
So it's like it's
Right on. But you guys, like, I mean, like the riders are big.
yeah
Like it's like the whole province.
yeah. So that's another great thing about it is it's
You
a whole
know.
province, man. So you got I think it comes with the
It's,
good and bad where it's like if you're winning, everything's going right, then
yeah.
socials can be so easy and like so nice to be able to like
Right.
engage fans. But then the other side of that is come the time where you're losing and everything's not going in your
Mm,
direction, you
So
kind of have to just
how do you like handle content then when like the team isn't doing well? Like how do you spin it, to
yeah, I think end of day, like whenever everything's not going good, I think you just gotta pull on like heartstrings of people and
mm,
remind them why they're connected with their team.
yeah, interesting.
And that's like something that's hard to do. But if you kind of remind them, like, hey, it's like a gradual process.
Yeah,
Kind of this happens like throughout the season. Obviously, you're not going to go undefeated. Everyone kind of hopes for it, but
yeah,
usually don't go undefeated. But it's kind of one of the things that you hope for. And it's like, oh,
right.
if this happens, then that's great. But if it doesn't, you just gonna have to like pull on the heartstrings of the fans, and then just
Yeah,
be like, hey guys, like let's still rally together.
yeah,
The team is trying their best for you, and you're trying to get kind of that great cup for you.
yeah, of course.
Kind of like yeah, just kind of going like that.
I've seen the fans, man. They're crazy. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
Like
I think
what's happening?
we have like a bunch of fans. Like obviously, I've kept in with them for like the past like 2
Yeah,
years, so.
it's
But
great.
they have fans that travel everywhere. Like if you're in Calgary, there's
Yeah,
fans there.
sure.
Edmonton,
It's almost like the Packers of like the NFL. Like it's that kind of
yeah,
following. It's that kind of like
yeah,
allegiance to the team.
yeah. And that's actually funny
So
that you say that because like I'm a big Packers fan.
there
So
you go. See?
like I know there's a fair bit of like when your team doesn't succeed, especially when
Right.
you're like a community team. And like, you know that everyone's not like, oh yeah, you guys are like the flashiest team, or like you spend the most money here, you do all that. But I think when you have that, it's kind of easy to like pull on the strings of people. And then when you win, I
Right.
think it's even sweeter,
Of
just
course.
because everyone's like happy about it and you're kind of
Yeah,
vibing
it's
and
good
feeling
vibes,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Interesting. The emotion of it. The emotion
yeah,
people get so invested into like the team, right? Like even now, starting with like the playoffs in hockey for like Toronto. Now like the Leafs are going to
mhm,
start again the playoffs. So
yeah,
it's like the whole like fan like emotion, like the heartache, all that stuff that goes into it. So
yeah. And I
that's kind
think
of
yeah, it's
cool.
one of the things that I like about the job is just, and I think I like about like creative kind of like work in general is being
Yeah.
able to touch on people's emotions.
Mm,
And it's forever the big thing within sports because your team can always be flashy. You can do like the best edits and whatnot. But the thing that a lot of fans are drawn to or enjoy watching from like the team's pages
yeah.
is how they can connect and
Right.
why they should like resonate with the team, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's like one like big thing that they usually have. So I usually like that, and like just being able to do that is kind of like fun for me.
That's cool, man. I like that.
Yeah.
So like you've always been into sports?
So yeah, I've always pretty much been into sports. I grew up playing football or soccer,
Yeah.
as they call it here. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I grew up playing football, and then I think we moved here in 2012. I still
Okay.
played football, and then I tried to do American football or
Yeah.
Canadian football, I guess.
Right.
After watching like one NFL game, and it
Yeah.
didn't work out. It didn't work out
No?
definitely.
Why?
Nah, honestly, like I never like obviously I just watched one game and I kind of saw that and I was like, oh yeah, I could probably do this. Like it was
Yeah.
light.
It's easy. You got
But
it.
yeah, I was like a five. I think at the time I was like a 5'5" scrawny little kid,
Mm.
trying to play linebacker for some reason. And again, it was a. I had watched a Packers game and I'd seen
Yeah.
like Clay Matthews, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I want to do what Clay Matthews is doing because it seems like it's fun. Just hitting people. Got to catch nothing. You just got to, just go and let somebody out. So that's kind of like how I fell in love with it. And then,
Right on.
yeah, I got cut. Honestly, I know I got cut like 5 minutes into the practice or tryout.
No.
Um,
No.
but it was just
Heartbreak.
like a vibe where they kind of just lingered it on to like the end of it, and it was cool
Yeah.
as well, just because the coach was like one of my first teachers in high school, so we had like a cool like calm relationship. So it was
Yeah.
like fun. He was like, "Oh yeah, Josh, you definitely did not make the team, but
But
you can go like register for these programs like throughout the summer, but they cost like $600-700 at the time." And I'm like, man, I'm a high school kid. I don't even have like a job yet. I'm in grade, I
right.
think 11. I'm
Right.
like, you can't really expect me to go pull out like $700 and then kind of do this. But yeah, after that, I kind of like was like, what, I have to play a sport before I finish high school. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, let me go try out rugby, man. So
Okay.
I tried out for rugby. They were like, "Oh yeah, you made the team," and I was like, I had to confirm with coach, and I was like, "Hey, I know you said everybody made like most of us made the team, but I want to be sure that you just said I made the team." He was like, "Oh yeah, you made the team. You're good." And then like
Okay.
ever since then, this is like 2015 now, so I've been playing rugby for about say a good 10 years. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
Yeah. It's even rougher than football.
It's rougher, but
It's
in a
rougher,
little
huh?
bit like safer, I would say, just because
Is it? Yeah.
everything is kind of like tactical, whether like tackling, the way you catch,
Okay.
how you operate. Obviously, like football, you have the plays that you got to study or whatnot. But
Yeah.
with like the safety regard, it's a little bit safer just because, like, I'm
Mm.
not gonna throw my head at you because I know I don't have like a helmet on, and I don't
Yeah.
have like protective gear on to like shield me from any of the pain. So
Yeah.
however you hit somebody, you're gonna feel the pain as much as the other
Right.
person feels it. So it's pretty much about like making your life easier and like tackling as safe as possible, just so
Yeah.
that you don't cause like long term injury for yourself
Makes
and you
sense.
don't cause like injury for like the next person. So
Right. So you so
yeah.
you're so you're still playing rugby now, are you?
I have to find a new team here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I would still, yeah, I'd like to continue like playing rugby, and it's like I feel like it's a fun outlet for me, man, because
Sure.
like we shoot a lot of like sports, we do all that,
Yeah.
but I also want to have like a space where it's like, I'm not shooting, I'm playing, and I'm enjoying myself
Mhm. Mhm.
outside of just like work or stuff. So
Mhm.
it's been a good like outlet for me. I would say again since like 2015, where
Yeah.
usually in the summer you go, you play, hit people, kind of enjoy, bond, and it's an easy outlet to make friends as well, you know, because
Yeah, of
like
course.
every rugby folks we're so chill. So they'll either be like, oh yeah, you want to go grab like a beer or want to go to
Yeah,
the clubhouse, the pub,
exactly.
whatever. And like honestly, that's what I'm about. As long as you can just go chill with like a bunch of guys that you just met and like
Yeah.
vibe right off the rip, I'm like cool with that. So
Yeah. Yeah, we were just chatting offline. Like it's hard to like make friends as you as you
yeah,
get older, it's harder to make friends and kind of have those relationships where you can just, go out for a beer and stuff. So it's important also to have something to do that's not your thing.
yeah,
Like just have something else to do for instead of like, shooting, editing, whatever, like whatever the thing is, like it's important to have something that's to do that's not what you do all the
yeah.
time, because
Yeah.
otherwise there's
I think
burnout and all that stuff, right? So
as time's going on, obviously, and again, I think we spoke offline on this, but
yeah,
you go from high school where you're in communication with everyone, and then university
yeah,
where you're forced to do like projects with people, but
yeah.
you're
You're
also
forced.
seeing
You're forced to make friends almost.
yeah, you're still like seeing people,
Yeah,
but then when you come into
yeah,
like the kind of like the workforce,
right.
it's like you have your coworkers, and like there's
That's
nothing to
it.
like force you to go do stuff, you know,
Yeah, well, people
depending on
got
your line of
families.
work.
Yeah, it's a different time. People have families and kids and all that. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, as long as you got something to like an outlet where you can meet other people, it's because again, you never know who you're going to meet that day. You have no idea. Could be
yeah.
that person could change your life. Who knows?
That's pretty much how it
You
is. So
know?
I think everyone that I kind of come in contact with, whether it's either on like a game day or even just like
Right.
randomly just kind of like walking on the street, like I'll try and say hi or like whatnot. Especially when we go for like community events, I try
Yeah.
to talk to as many people as possible because that's the one time where you're like, oh, you know what? It's kind of that free will stuff where it's like I have free will, like nothing is stopping me from talking to anyone that's in here. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
be like, hey man, how you doing today? My
Yeah.
name is Josh. I just moved to the city. What do you like about it? What do you kind of enjoy about the city? Kind of just spark like a conversation with
Yeah.
people, and then just kind of like run off of that.
Yeah, I think I was listening to another podcast, and they were saying like people are just like craving for connection. Like they're just craving for it. Like they may not like say it,
Yeah,
but just like know that everyone's kind of craving that connection. So even just like a simple like hello, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming out today. Like it probably could go a long way because a lot of people don't kind of make that effort sometimes to like actually talk to someone in real life in real
yeah,
time with like no screen in front of you.
yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
honestly it's one of those, but yeah, like as I've kind of grown, it's just been like you don't get an opportunity to interact with everyone as much as you'd like. So try
Yeah.
to do it as much as you can,
Yeah.
like just in the moment.
Yeah.
If you
And
see
plus, and
someone, you
plus,
say like,
and
"What's
plus
up?"
you feel better. And you feel better too about yourself
Yeah,
too,
it
in a
definitely
way.
yeah, it makes you feel better, and then it also opens you up to be like, you know what? If I'm doing this out in public, then like as you kind of get restricted with how many or how much people you come in contact with, it kind of allows you to have more meaningful conversations as you
Yeah.
kind of go along, and then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I've met this person, kind of go about this
Right.
and that, chat with them, connect with them, and then you just kind of like see how you could like grow from that, or even like make again friends because that's hard to do
It's hard. Yeah, of course.
after a bit.
Absolutely. 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 No, it's good, man. I mean, so how'd you get into like the whole like content game? Like how did that come about? Is
Oh man, I don't.
that a long story?
It's not like a big story, I would say, because
Yeah.
like my background is I finished school with an accounting and finance degree, and
Okay. So that makes
obviously
sense.
you don't you don't see
Yeah.
that crossover too
Okay.
often. But
All
I
right.
think the pandemic happened in 2020,
Yep.
and I was just about to finish my degree, and I was like, you know what, I'm bored, and I'm someone that's I've played sports, but I barely have any photos, or I've barely like seen any photos of myself or videos.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, let me just get a camera and kind of see what goes from there.
Right on.
So I bought myself a camera. It was a T7, a Canon T7. Shout out Canon, man.
Love it, man.
Um,
That's how everyone starts on that camera.
yeah, but I bought a Canon T7 off of Best
Yeah.
Buy, and then I was kind of just testing out shooting stuff. I think the whole world was shut down, so there was no
Right.
sports. So I spent the time just learning how to shoot. I did portraits, and then I did I think landscapes. So
Yeah.
I would go to Banff for like
Nice.
I think every month for like the next like 5 or 6 months or so, and I just take pictures and I just be there with one of my boys, and we just take flicks, and that'll probably be like it. And then sports came back, and I was like, you know what? Basketball is back. It's indoor. It's easily like containable. You know, there's no like you can limit access for it. So I was like, you know what? Let me go shoot basketball.
Right on.
I shot basketball, and I think it just went from there. But I think when I bought like a camera, the one thing that I wanted to do is to also tell people, hey, like, you know, it doesn't. You can have like whatever you kind of want to do, but enjoy kind of what you do as well, because that's like the end of it. And I know that there's a lot of athletes that either don't have photos or videos of themselves, and usually it feels like it's a hindrance, especially if you're going from like, you know, like the high school level and you want to like advance up and play like the sport professionally. I feel like when a lot of people don't see themselves on like socials or something, it kind of drops down their willingness to continue in the sport. So I just wanted to be able to give back to like people that are playing. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll just continue. And then ever since then, I get taken off in crazy ways that I cannot even like imagine, or like I would have ever expected. So, yeah, I mean, like since I bought that camera, I always tell people like I feel lucky, but at the same time, like I know I've grinded like so much from when I started to like now. So now I'm definitely like, that's kind of like one of the reasons why I did get into like the whole creative industry and not continue. Yeah.
Wow. So then you just dropped accounting then for good?
I wouldn't say I dropped it for good, because obviously I still got that degree, and like I'm Nigerian, so in a Nigerian household, you still got to do like either one of your whatever you have your degree in relatively. But it's still like nice to have, and I think at one point I might even just start using accounting as a hobby, where it's like, hey, if you want like your taxes. Your taxes done, hit me up. You know, I can get.
I'll do your taxes and make you some reels at the same time.
You know,
it's crazy.
Taxes, make you some reels, and you know, it's the end of the day, that's kind of how it is. But
you're the content tax guy.
But I think I'll still kind of use it where again I have that finance background, so
interesting, man.
When I get kind of I have some certifications that I need to get. But I think when I get that, I'd like to go into like the kind of investment banking route.
Really?
Kind of, yeah. So I still enjoy it because I'm a numbers guy. I love numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I kind of enjoy that. So I haven't shut the door on it, but again, like I love creative work. So if it's a thing that I can do where it's like I can have a crossover of the two, it's something I'd be like, you know what? I kind of like that. I can rock with that. You know, it's kind of like calm like that. So, yeah.
It's so rare to find people with like both skill sets like that, numbers and art.
Yeah, it honestly it took me a while. Like I wouldn't even say. I think like video and photos kind of just Jesus Christ. Videos and photos, it kind of just grew on me, kind of like as time went. But I knew that you know, just being able to at least see kind of your work and people be like, oh yeah. Like, man, this is dope. Like, oh, this is nice and things like that. I'm like, it's one thing that I'll never like take for granted, and one thing I always appreciate. But you know, and some people have come up to me and be like, oh, you know, from like what you've done, you know, like we love your work. You know, like you kind of like, you know, keep me like going or whatnot. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, I don't know how I'm doing that, but I'm glad that you know, like you're kind of going off of that, and I'm excited that you know you're kind of still taking up what you're doing. And I want to make it where it's like people that are doing creative work can have a career out of it, which is like it's like a downside that people look at as like, oh, you can't have like a career out of it. But I wanted to start from the point, and I knew there was one of my guys, his name is Richard, and he works with the Elks, but I met him back in I believe 2020, but I think he was like, oh yeah, like I'm at the stage where you know I'm like shooting stuff, but it's like not working. It's working, but like you can't have like a career out of it type of thing. And he was like, oh, hopefully I've like paved the way for like the next people. And I think from him was where I learned more stuff, and I kept like going like that. So I hope that at least people can see like, hey, wherever you're kind of doing from anything, you can kind of like pivot and create a career out of, you know, like a creative work, because everything is needed. Videos are needed.
Everyone needs it. Everybody needs it. It doesn't matter if you're like a mom and pop shop or you're like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like everybody needs it.
I tell people all the time, like everything that you buy because you saw a picture of someone or you saw a video of something. if you watch, golf, or if you don't watch golf, you've
Sure.
probably known about golf now from this weekend.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
everyone's like, oh
Yeah.
my God, look at that picture
Rory.
of like
Yeah.
Rory winning. Look at that graphic of Rory winning. These are things
Yeah.
that people see on a daily, but
Yeah.
subconsciously it's like, oh yeah, that's just like, I just saw it. But again, that can be a career. You're boosting someone's brand, you're boosting sales for them, you're boosting someone else to be like, oh, I want to go like do this or do that, or I want to get engaged in this or engage in that. So it's one of the
Yeah.
things that I like about the profession.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, everywhere you look, it's just like we're just being bombarded with like short form content. So I think really like the challenge is being able to like stand out in like the marketplace,
Hmm.
right? Because there's so much
Um,
demand, but there's also so much like competition too. So how does
yeah,
one stand out? Like if someone were to ask you, I want to get into like sports photography,
yeah,
what would you tell them if they had no experience?
no experience. I would say like whatever you do has to be a reflection of you at the end of the
Mm,
day, and no one can be a reflection of you because you are your own person.
yeah,
When people start to get into the point of, hey, like this is different, or like I'm copying this person, that's because you want to look like your content is someone else's.
yeah,
But I feel like if you know who you are at the end of the day and you're shooting stuff and you're editing and you're like, you know what, I like this technique. There's a photographer in the NHL, or she does like some NHL content. Her name is Perot.
hmm
And I think she's based in Vancouver, but she shoots a bunch of stuff, double exposure, and it's a reflection of who she is. And you can look on her page and be like, oh, not everyone is doing this. You
yeah,
know, it's so different than what kind of like you see every day or whatnot. And it's like, oh, this is nice because she has her own style, and people are gonna like copy that or whatnot. But it's like she has her own style. There's
yeah,
another guy that shoots NCAA basketball content. I
yeah,
think his IG page is trying to do it right, or trying to do right.
right.
But he does all this stuff on gimbal and he makes his videos like that. And I'm like, I have
Hmm.
never seen that before. And you don't usually film basketball on a tripod or sort of on like a gimbal,
On a gimbal, yeah.
but his content is like so good that it's making people go record basketball games on a gimbal, you
Wow,
know? So it's like
wow,
one of those things where like people are like using all that, even all the Jordan ads, the Nike ads, people are trying to replicate that just
yeah,
because it's nice and all that. But I feel like if you know and like stay true to like who you are, like
yeah,
everything, like that's pretty much the goal for everything. And I always tell people my stuff is simple. Now you don't have to make your stuff simple, but I'm based on, and this has been me since like ever, but I'm based on simplicity is key. I don't need to do
yeah,
too much on anything that I do, and I try
yeah,
and reflect that within my work. There are times where it's like subconsciously, like I've gotten a shot and it just looks nice, but I'm like, you know what? I'll just keep it simple, cut this
yeah,
down, break this down, and I'll make it. And that's literally what it is. I don't try to do too much. And again, that's where it's like it's based on who you are. And I
yeah,
feel like whenever you're doing stuff and you're doing it for you, and you have a why for like why you're doing what you're doing, like
yeah,
you're always gonna stand out regardless of like what you're doing.
yeah,
Even if everything like looks similar, like there'll be something particular that stands out about your content and the way that you do it. So that's
yeah.
usually what I tell a lot of people trying to get into the space is, hey
Mhm.
man, if you have that kind of like willingness, or who you are, your
Yeah,
content's gonna flow as like
yeah,
based off of who you are and your personality.
yeah. You gotta really believe in what you're doing. Like you really
Hmm.
gotta believe in like your skill set, and because like no one's really gonna tell you, oh, like when you're first starting out, like no one's gonna go out and like validate you. You have to kind of
Yeah,
like validate yourself and just say,
yeah,
I'm worthy, I'm capable, I have the skills, and just kind of constantly believe, and then someone's going to give you that chance, right? So I think
yeah,
sometimes we like especially like sometimes we wait for things to come
yeah,
because we just expect it because we think we're amazing and we just expect things to come. But like
yeah,
when you're starting out, you need to like make things happen because no one's going to be knocking on the door and say, hey, you want to go shoot this thing this weekend? Like like what?
Honestly,
Yeah,
literally, that's how it is now. I know a lot of
yeah,
people that kind of waiting for, like, oh, like, let me know when you're free to go shoot this, and we can go like shoot it.
yeah,
But at the same time, like, why wait for somebody, man? Just if you want to
no,
shoot some, man, regardless of what it is, if you got to do it on your own with somebody else, just kind of do it. It doesn't matter, like whatever. Like you don't need to wait on people to kind of like go about what you want to do.
no,
And I tell like people shut a lot of barriers for themselves, just being like, oh, like I don't know if I can do this, or I feel like I need to wait for someone else to assist me before I do this. And I'm like, man, you're closing a big door for yourself. Whether it's even reaching out to someone that's been like, hey, I love what you shoot, and I'd like to get some advice here and there. And I think the more that I've I think gone into space, and I've connected with a bunch of individuals that shoot from NFL content to like D1 football to here in Canada to NHL. I'm like, you can reach out to any of these people because everyone sees the message, and I'm like, even like as a coordinator of like socials, I'm like, man, I see like a lot of like comments. People see this stuff, Some people reply, some people won't, but it doesn't hurt for you to just try, Like you don't lose anything by just trying. And at the end of the day, that's like I tell people, like, you don't need to wait for someone else or try. The worst that could happen is like you don't get an answer. But at the end of the day, like you're not dead. It doesn't kill you. Somebody could respond to you, and that could be like the start of something great. That you start doing later on. So I'm like, whatever like people like do stuff, follow that person, message that person, try and contact that person, as much as you can for whatever you want to do, and like just try stuff. Again, just shoot your shot for like everything, and something might just become of it,
Yeah. It's not really timing it at the end of the day, because you may shoot someone a message today, but that person may get back in 6 months because 6 months down the road is actually a better time, because they may actually have something for you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about kind of like planting seeds and just saying, hey, I'm here. Don't forget about me, and kind of thing. Like it's like we didn't don't expect someone to give you a job on day one because he said, hey, I'm available.
No doubt. And I think a beautiful story about that is I think T-Pain. I don't know if you've seen the stuff about T-Pain, but now he's like performing at Coachella, and he's like getting more like visibility out there. But it's like, I think he said he was like, at one point people messaged him, but he never knew that he had like message requests. So he never checked that. So he missed out on a bunch of opportunity just because of that. But I'm like, people reach out. Now he's getting it. Coachella's getting him, and he's making money for Coachella. Money's making from him from Coachella. So it's like, it's like a kind of like a double thing, but it's like, man, like all it takes is just for someone to reach out or for someone to do this and that. And honestly, like anything could take off. And it took him like 20 years. It doesn't mean it's going to take you 20 years. It could take longer. It could be day one. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 2 months.
Could be.
But all you have to do is just try and just kind of hope for it.
Yeah, it's just all about kind of just being there and just kind of being consistent with like what you're trying to do. And I think eventually it does pay off. Just like the karma of what you're trying to do. I think there is karma to it a little bit. And
and I think that's why I also have like the big thing of like have a why. If you have your why, and your why is like proper. If you're doing it because you're like, oh yeah, I just want to blow up and I want to have like a lot of followers. And, like,
we all do.
But at the end of the day, it's like if you like look at it and you're like, okay, I want to do this because like it doesn't like directly benefit me, but I know that someone else can benefit from this, whether it's like an athlete or a program or someone just younger than you can benefit from that. I think it's definitely crucial. One of the things that I kind of tell people to have, and I always tell people like everybody wants to shoot something, whether it's pro sports or whatever. Sometimes you don't get your start in pro sports, but have a why for
you do need a why. It's important.
That why.
Yeah, it's important. Sometimes I don't think it's an easy question to answer, but I think it is important to have like a North Star of where you're trying to get to,
Yeah. So like if you have like that trajectory, like okay, I kind of have a reasoning ish for like my why, then I think everything kind of goes hand in hand with that, and you can definitely like succeed off of that. So
because when you tell someone you work for the Riders, you're in the social department, it sounds like a great gig, which I'm sure it is. But I mean, also like I'm sure it's not easy. Like there's a lot of like challenges to it. Like it's not always like rainbows every day.
Yeah, and I think with every job, I think I tell people, man, people are like, oh yeah, you just like either doing like socials or whatnot, but I'm like, man, you still have like goals that you gotta reach, things that you gotta do at the same time. You also need to like, manage content, and I feel like everyone's like, oh yeah, that's easy, but it take a bit out of you when you gotta be like, oh yeah, let me go like figure out what to post, how do you engage with people, how can you excite people again, like And I think people don't even understand. They're like, oh yeah, you have like a full-time job out of like
Mm,
managing like socials or whatnot. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, once the season's over, like you don't just your favorite team just doesn't stop posting.
yeah.
You know, they need a way to be able to reel you in. The team itself has to make money just so that they're giving you a better show on court, on the field, on the ice, or whatnot. So everything's kind of year round. And I treat it like accounting. You're not only going to have your accountant during tax season or when
Mm,
you're getting audited. Your accountant is there all year round. You
mm,
know, they're crunching numbers, figuring out different ways to either save you money, figuring out the problems
right.
that you're having
Right.
within your
Yeah.
company.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like that's the same thing with like social. You know, you're either figuring out like the problem, trying to solve a problem, trying to like aid a problem. You know, so it's
Yeah.
like little things like that where I'm like, you know, as long as you can kind of do it for why you do it,
Right.
that process will always be like easy to go. But again, it'll
Uh,
be hard. It's not easy and like rainbows every day. But if you have like a reasoning for it, it's gonna push you to keep going and just
yeah.
keep
Yeah.
enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah. It's super important.
Hmm.
Because like all we see are like always hear like the highlights on social media. We don't really get to see like the true like day-to-day grind of like what it means to be in a social media department.
Yeah.
I
So
wish I wish that
that
would come out one day and just say this is what actually happens.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of teams are trying to do it now, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, coming like a behind the scenes of like a day in the life with our
Like a 30 for
photographer,
30.
and
We need like a 30
you
for 30 on like a social media department. That's what we need. We gotta get that going.
yeah,
30 for
honestly,
30.
that is an idea though. But yeah, it's like
Telling you.
kind of those things where people are like, oh yeah, let's show you like what the actual deal is, you know. And
Yeah.
people are like, oh yeah, you just do this, but like, man, you have your holidays taken away from you. You have
Yeah.
your summer taken away from you. Like everyone's like, oh yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna travel in the summer, but if you work in like a pro sport, especially here in like Canada,
Yeah.
everything is gonna run usually in the summertime. You
Yes.
know, so
Yeah.
at that point, you have to be prepared to lose that.
Yeah.
You know, that summer, like you know, relationships, like whatnot. Sometimes you also got to lose that. Again, if you're a videographer and photographer with some like pro teams, you're flying out with these players.
Yeah.
That's 82 games of constant work. You're flying out. People are like, "Oh my god, don't you love flying?" I'm telling you, if you go on a plane like
Mhm.
tonight and then you do something the next day and you have to fly back and you have to repeat that process over and over, like it takes
Yeah.
like a bit off. You know,
Yeah,
like
no doubt, no doubt.
you're every day you're jet lagged, tired, something, and I'm like,
Yeah,
man, like you still have to show up to work. It's not like I'm just doing, oh yeah, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Easy. I
yeah,
know I don't have to work weekends, but sometimes you're like, oh, 9 to 5, probably every day is gonna push like 9 to 7, probably 8 to 7. You have game days where you gotta go like a whole day of working and then you gotta like upload content the next day showing up. You know, you don't even have like your weekends for yourself. So it's like
yeah,
there's no
yeah.
like time
No,
to
I believe
relax
it.
or
I
vent.
believe it. I believe it. It'd be really cool to see like an actual like true
Already
representation of like what goes on like
behind the
you
scenes,
know,
yeah.
yeah, I think it'd be really interesting. I just think it would shine a whole different light on like the Hollywood version of like what we think being a
Yeah,
content creator is,
yeah.
because
Nah, most definitely.
it'd be
Yeah.
really cool. But I mean, so how do you handle all that? Like how do you handle and try to like not get burnt out? Like
I think just managing time for yourself, seeing what works for you. Again, I kind of
yeah,
did rugby, so it was
right.
easy to
Yeah.
just you know like every time, even though I'm tired, I'll probably still go play or train with
Yeah.
like my folks. I also tell people, and I've done this at every interview that I have, but I'm like, music is a big thing for me for just de-stressing and like relaxing.
Right.
So I always go like watch a movie or I'll listen to music, literally just stay in like the room or whatnot and like listen to music and then just wind down in that aspect. But
Okay.
try not to like, and it's inevitable sometimes, like inevitable sometimes, but you can get like you can get burnt out easy. I think you just got
Okay.
to know how to manage it as best as possible
Yeah.
for you. And mine's music and movies. So
Okay.
if I come home
No.
after like a long day, I'm just gonna like relax,
Yeah.
put on a movie and watch that, or I'm just gonna listen to music. It's like
Okay.
calming music, not this type that like blurs out your ear, but you know, like calming music. And
Right.
I think I tell people it's like dark academia music. So the thing that they use in like Oppenheimer, that music that
Oh, that?
they
Okay,
kind of
right on.
craft.
Okay. You're
I
you're in the
usually
you're in the
listen like
zone.
yeah. So listen to
Don't even
Dark
talk to me.
Academia.
I'm gone. Don't even talk to me. I'm gone.
Yeah, kind of do that, vibe out for a little bit, and you know,
Yeah.
it keeps you at like a bay in peace, and then yeah, I think
Right on.
also like just figuring out also in your personal life, you know, like hey, don't stay up too late, get your rest,
Yeah.
manage and be accountable for your rest
Yeah.
and your like sanity kind of thing. So yeah, kind of just
Yeah.
like pretty much like that.
No, I can imagine, man, because like there's always like deadlines, right? There's always deadlines.
Yeah,
There's always like it's just I could see it being easy to like not turn the brain off, because
yeah, it's
always
something
there.
that's it's definitely on. And what I like about kind of working with the writers now is that they have like they're so accommodating with like obviously like your mental health and kind of just you
Yeah.
not being burnt out.
Right.
So we actually have like a room that we have in office that if you're feeling like stressed or burnt out, you can just go in there and just relax. And there's
Okay.
like a walking pad in there,
Uh,
and whatnot. But you can just kind of go in there, be with your thoughts, walk around for a little
right.
bit,
Right. Okay.
just kind of like vibe and get yourself back in a groove, and
Nice.
then kind of go out there and like
Nice.
participate. So,
Nice. Nice.
yeah, it's like one of those things. And again, every job, some jobs have it, some jobs don't. But some jobs now also have like a mental health practitioner that's with them,
Yeah.
to make sure that everybody's doing good and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
it's that kind of landscape where everything is changing and it's kind of changing for the better. Where it's like, hey, we want you to do a great job, but we also want you to like manage yourself and
Yeah.
not like crash out on us. So
Well, I mean, it happens to the best of us, right? Like it's
yeah.
especially when it's your income, it's like it's hard to turn it off. So I mean, I
Mhm.
there is pressure there to like perform, right? It's not like
Yeah,
you're making stuff for you. Like you need to perform for the people that are paying you. So there's a different kind of mentality there, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
That's another thing. So it's definitely like good that obviously like these companies also know that hey, we know that this person has to produce for us, this person has to do this, but we also know
that's
that
right.
if they're great talent, we don't
Yeah.
want to run them off,
Yeah, exactly. They
because
want to
it's
they
we
want to
don't
keep the talent. It's hard to
yeah we
find
don't
good
want to
people,
run
man.
through.
It's
It
hard to
really it
find
really
it's
is.
hard to find people that know what they're doing.
And again, you
And
can
can
find people that are like great at either editing or photography, but they
yeah,
can be like a pain to work with, you
yeah,
know? So you
yeah,
want to make sure whoever you're bringing onto your team is kind of being able to, you're able to kind of be like, okay, this person is great for the team and great for our success as well,
yeah,
you
it's
know?
huge. Yeah, other
So,
other people have said the same thing where it's like your reputation walks in before you do, right? So you need to make sure that the person that's there is like you're able to like work with that person. Otherwise, it could be a total nightmare.
yeah, most definitely. Could definitely be
So
horrible, but
that's another that's
yeah,
a that's another 30 for 30. Coworker
most
nightmares in
definitely.
the social media department. Oh man, it'd be great. It'd be great. But I
Yeah.
mean, I mean,
Oh,
like, I
yeah.
guess, I guess, I guess you're getting ready for the season, right? It's gonna start what in June? It
Yeah,
starts in
so we
June.
have training camp starts. So season officially kicks off in June.
Yeah.
We have training camp pretty much starting in May.
Right. So you're
And
doing
then we
that too,
have a
right?
couple, yeah. So we head up actually to Saskatoon for training camp.
Yeah.
And then we spend the whole month kind of there. And then, yeah, we have two preseason games towards the end of the month, the
Right.
last two weekends of the month, I guess. And then after that, it's just straight off the season, And
That's right.
now I'm kind of doing this, but like our game is like the first game to kick off the CFL season.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, now I'm coming to this, and it's like, oh, not even like a break. You're like, oh, your game is like the third game, so I can't even like see what other people are doing. We
Right.
have to be
You're
like
you're
the,
you're the
oh,
lead. You're the
yeah,
lead on it.
we're the lead. So it's like now we
So what
gotta
are you gonna
okay, we gotta
do?
put some.
What are you gonna
Honestly,
do?
man, that is a
You,
great question, bro. That is a great question.
yeah.
I got zero clue, but I think honestly, I'm just taking it a day at a time.
Yeah.
I tried to look at like different teams and see how they've gone about like
I've never
processes.
thought of that. I've never thought of that before. Looking at other teams and how they do it.
Yeah,
Never
so
thought about that.
usually I usually like look at like NFL teams, see what they do, see how they go about their process.
Yeah.
What do they do if they win, if they lose, how the actual game day feels like. But I
Right.
also know for myself, like we have like our demographic of fans and whatnot, but like you're also trying to bring in like new fans because obviously like you can never not bring in like more fans. So just figuring out, okay, how can we bring in new fans? How can we manage our current demographic that's like at the games? How can we excite them? What can that look like on socials? For people that
Okay.
have us on Twitter, on TikTok, on
Right.
Instagram,
Right.
on
Right.
Facebook,
You're
like how
everywhere.
can we manage? How can we manage everything that keeps everyone like happy and like sustainable?
Right.
And again, per se, we lose the game. It's like, oh, how do you now manage that? Where people are like, oh yeah, sell the team, do this, do that. Like
Fire
you have to kind of
everyone.
like, yeah, you have to kind of like put out the fires like everywhere, which is kind
Man,
of one of like the hard
man.
things. But
Interesting. Interesting. I never thought about looking at other teams' socials. That's really interesting. It's not like
Yeah,
stealing secrets, but it's like stealing secrets. Oh, this is how you do it. Eh? Okay, cool, cool, cool.
yeah. And again, it's like
Yeah.
it's not even like a true like like a flip book where it's like if you do this, it'll be successful for
Right,
you. But you
right.
kind of have to look at it, and
The
I kind of
concept of it,
follow.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of follow the concept of it or
The
why they do
concept.
what they do.
Mm.
I think I look at a couple of NFL teams like the Packers, obviously, because they're also a community-owned team. So
Yeah,
see how they go about the process. The Bengals, I usually reference them because I'm like, they just had like a horrible
yeah.
year. But
Brutal.
they also have some of the highest engagement on social media
Is
this
that right?
year.
Is that right?
So I'm like,
Interesting.
yeah. So I'm like, how does that like correlate? What's going from that to this, and then you look at obviously Philadelphia, how they stay true to like who they are and the team
Yeah,
is, and they show like the personality of the players. But then you also look at like the horrible teams in like Carolina, the
right,
Jaguars, and all that.
right.
How do they
Yeah.
manage socials? How do they go about like everything? How do they reel in fans? It's like
Mm.
doing everything and kind of go from there. Then you also like take a look at European teams. So like the like Premier League teams, how they go about it, how they go about their process. I look at every team
You're
from
like a
like college
scientist.
level.
You're
Yeah, so
you're like
from
a
like
scientist.
college level,
You got a big table at the on the boards.
yeah. So from like college level all the way up until friggin' like the pro level, just look at
Really?
kind
Eh?
of how they go about stuff, see what works, see what their demographic is.
Yeah,
If you're a fan of a team, what do you like to see? You know, because say
yeah,
like myself, I'm a Packers fan. I know that every time we score like a touchdown, they have a touchdown graphic that goes out, and then like a couple minutes after, there will be like a post of the touchdown going out. So just
yeah,
keeping fans engaged on like socials like that, just kind of those little things. But again, you kind of have to like look through a bunch of teams and be like, hey, what are they doing that's helping them be successful?
mhm,
You have to look at reports, see what people are doing that's keeping them either active on said platforms, and
yeah.
then you have to like try and have a conglomerate of like each one and be like, okay, let me use this for TikTok, let me use this for
Whoa,
IG.
whoa. Are you doing
So
this yourself? Are you doing this by yourself?
yeah. So usually by myself, but
Jeez.
again, I think our videographer and our photographer, we all like gather ideas together where we're like,
Yeah,
hey, we saw this on here and we think we should do this. So the whole department, and again, I kind of love the team that I'm working with, where it's like the whole department's like, hey, we saw this because everyone's like page is different, right? So you're
right.
like, oh, we saw this, we think it'll be nice, and it has like a nice look. Someone else will be like, hey, we saw this, we think it'll also be nice. This is how like it should look on the feed. And I'm like, okay, I saw this. I think this would look nice. And
Yeah,
people kind of appreciate this. So we kind of just all like get together sometimes and like do, but obviously they're focused on creating a video, but I have to manage how do we grow, the
yeah,
socials. And the best way to do that is to learn kind of how other people have kind of done it. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
again, and I
Interesting,
also try to like
interesting.
reach out to people. It's like it's no different than any other profession. If you want to grow, you reach out to people, see how they've done it in the past, how they've done stuff in the past, how they
Yeah,
grow, how they manage like obviously like all this chaos on everything. Because if you have a large following, one little mistake that you have on socials can be the reason like a team loses everyone or something.
yeah.
So I kind of like go with that and kind of just keep that aspect like on.
Man, what a process, man.
It's a bit,
What a
man, but
process. Let me tell you, that is a full-time job times two.
yeah, it
Times
takes a
two.
bit. So like again, you look at it and you're like, you kind of have to be grateful for the opportunity that you're given. But I think with every opportunity comes a challenge. So
Right. Yeah.
as long as you're able to manage that and kind of like flow with that, I think everything kind of works out in your favor at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the writer page.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
uh,
Wild.
yeah.
Wild.
So again, we're a community, so we try to be for the community. With like everything that we do, we're intentional with what we post. Like
Yeah.
every now and then. I've been doing some stuff just to fill in the feed and just keep keep our fans kind of engaged here and there. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, kind of like the sign graphics that we do, you have to put it out whenever you sign a player. So you kind of have to do that. But every other
Right.
thing is
Okay.
like, we're trying to be different than a bunch of teams where we're showing a different process than what everyone would show. luckily we
Yeah,
had the combine here in Regina, so we were able to do like
right
kind
on.
of a BTS moment of it. It's like, oh, this is kind of what goes down to the process of the combine,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So it's like showing fans that kind of aspect, because people be like, oh yeah, why'd you draft this person? Why'd you draft that person? It was like, these are what like our coaches are seeing, and this is how they evaluate people within like that CFL landscape. So this is kind of how they're doing
Yeah.
it and going from
Interesting.
there and like growing. So it's like one of those things we have to look at and kind of like grab and see just how, okay, do we want to see new players on the page today? You know, if we have a graphic going out today, what can go out tomorrow or what can go out like the next day? You know, you also have to like maintain your retail as well, because you need to sell some stuff. So it's like, oh, how can we push out these certain stuffs that we do, go from there, you know, bring in our fans into the community, because everyone loves to see themselves
Yeah, true.
on their feed. But
True,
yeah, it's kind
true.
of like showcasing everything for the community, so that everyone's like, you know what,
Man.
we're all happy. We're doing this for you and not for us. You know, so
Right.
just trying to make sure
Okay.
that
Interesting.
everyone's like happy at the end of the day, and then yeah, shining a light on like different things. So yeah.
Interesting, man. Really cool. So like it's like so how come you like named your account Lazy Boy Media then? Because you're doing so much work.
That one's more. I think in university I created. I had a fitness account.
Oh yeah.
But the lazy stems from because I have sleep apnea.
Oh
So
okay.
yeah, like I'm always like tired throughout the day, and I'm always gonna be lazy. But I always tell myself that regardless of if I'm lazy or not, I will go
Right.
do a job. Even when I was doing freelance, I can be
Yeah.
lazy, but I will go and I'll continue like to do work whenever. And someone would be like, "Oh yeah, when are you resting?" I'll be like, "I don't know, whenever." And I was like, obviously, like it's not a good thing to just keep working yourself, but I always tell myself, like, I know I'm lazy and I know I'm like tired and whatnot, but
Right.
at the end of the day, you always got to go work.
Yeah.
It's kind of how everything kind of flows. So if you just kind of keep true to that and stay to that, kind of do that. So I named like my stuff Lazyboy Media so that people are going to be like, hey, this page is this, but it's a juxtaposition for his
Right.
actual
Yeah.
ethic, kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
how I work. So yeah, anyone
Interesting.
that kind of like knows me knows that like I don't like I work a
It's a
lot,
joke.
you
It's a
know.
joke
Yeah.
then. Yeah, I
So
get it.
yeah.
I get it. I
So
get
it's
it.
like you
That
kind
makes
of do
sense
that
now.
and go from that.
It
But
makes sense
yeah.
now to me. So I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I think a bunch of people have asked me like, "Oh, why Lazy Boy Media, whatnot." I
Yeah.
just think at one point it just like stuck. So the
Well, it's
basketball
catchy.
guys from last season, like
Yeah.
I think some of them barely knew that my name was Josh, but they'd be like, "Yo, Lazy,
Yeah,
what's good?" You know.
lazy. They call you
And I'm
lazy.
like,
It's like, no, my name is that's
yeah.
funny.
And they
That's
would do it
funny.
like they do it in public, and people would look like, "Why are you calling him Lazy?" And he's like,
Yeah, yeah,
"Nah,
no doubt.
that's just his business name." But
Oh
yeah,
man.
people were like, "Oh yeah, like you're lazy
That
down."
is
Like yeah,
funny.
so I think they
Wow.
all kind of know like what it is or what it's about. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's catchy though. It is catchy though.
yeah,
Oh man.
it's stuck on for a bit. So
Yeah, no doubt, eh? Well, cool, man. Well, you got the lead. You got the lead of the season, so you can really kind of make some really cool stuff.
yeah, so
Be
I think it
fun,
was
man.
nice. It was nice that I started kind of in February, just because
Yeah.
like everything was kind of kicking off. Then like we had free agency kickoff. We had combine. Now we're going into draft season in a couple of
Yeah, yeah.
weeks. So it's like just I wanted to get into the groove, not in season, but like before to see
Yeah,
the whole
sure.
process,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then have that in season moment as well, just so that everything's kind of like streamlined, like good from that, and you can kind of like have that process under your belt. And I feel like honestly, once I have like the first 2 game days kind of done, or like even preseason,
Yeah.
everything is kind of like quicker and like faster, and it can like slow down in my mind where it's like I don't have to like do this, do that, do this, so I can like calm everything
Yeah.
down and be like, hey, this is what I need to do first, and
Yeah.
go from this and do that and do that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces to this role. Like I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
you just can't show up Monday and say, "Okay, let's rock and roll." Like, what?
yeah,
You got to be like,
everything.
yeah. I just feel like
Every
you need everything before.
yeah, everything is like
You know?
deeply planned. We have weekly meetings just trying to plan out obviously like everything from game presentation to how we
Right.
want things to look to how we want the feel and vibe of the season to go and things like that. Things will come up on the fly, which that's sports.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like again, you just have to like manage that and
Yeah.
try and like have it where it's like, oh, the fans can process this as simple as possible.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, because I mean, everyone
Mhm.
has such a short, like a short attention span that you need to hit someone with something really quick.
Yeah, Yeah, that's like the one thing. So
Yeah, interesting. So like, what do you like? Like, what do you really like? Do you like shooting the most, editing? Like, what do you like doing the most if you had to pick something?
I'd probably say honestly, it's like half and half, man. Because
Yeah,
there's like some days where you like editing, and right now I like editing just because our videographer and a photographer make it so easy.
yeah,
But there are like some days where it's like, oh, I also like videoing, because it's probably like a short day. But it could be a
yeah,
day where you're videoing for damn near 5 hours, and there's like
sure.
sometimes where like my camera equipment weighs a bit once you pull like your 7200 on or some other big lens, and you
Yeah,
have all these different attachments. You're like, man, I'm gonna have like scoliosis by the end of this stuff. But
yeah, yeah.
it's kind of one of those things where it's like a half and half. But as of
Mm,
right now, I do prefer like editing.
yeah,
It's just way more
cool.
fun, and you're able to like transfer like what someone shot into like some finished product that looks great and presentable. So
Yeah,
I kind of just like that and the process of like making things like look good, because you can always record one way, but I think the editing is where you get to show your style and how you do stuff. So yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of what I
No
enjoy at the
doubt,
moment.
no doubt. Like photo and video,
Yeah, photo and
both,
video.
both. Eh?
Yeah.
What do you use to edit?
So I use Premiere to edit,
Yeah,
but I've gone through I think the Premiere, DaVinci, Final Cut. I
yeah.
started
Through
out
all
on
of them.
Final Cut. I didn't
Yeah,
really enjoy it that much. I know it's different now, but I think I've just used Premiere, and it's like Premiere is like the industry standard as
yeah.
well.
I use
Because a lot of
Premiere.
teams,
I use
yeah,
Premiere too.
a lot of teams would be like, "Oh, are you comfortable in Adobe?" You know, no one's
Yeah,
ever going, "Oh, are you comfortable in Final Cut? Are you comfortable in
or
DaVinci?"
DaVinci.
Like,
Yeah,
those are not like they're used in the industry, but they're not industry standards. I
right,
would say,
right.
so
Interesting.
it's like one of those things. But I think being able to use all kind of three of them and knowing how to use all three of them, it's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, if you have like a platform that you use like proper, like
Well,
I use it.
everyone's leaving Adobe for DaVinci. Everyone's like
Yeah,
jumping ship. Everyone's jumping ship.
DaVinci, yeah, they have. I think they have a great program over there, and it's like nice because obviously everyone doesn't want to do the reoccurring payments with Adobe and whatnot. So
Yeah,
you
I
pay
get.
once for DaVinci, you have it, you get your updates and whatnot.
Yeah,
But I think again, I just haven't had the time or energy to learn DaVinci. But at the same time, the dynamic link within like Premiere is what I love so much because you can
yeah.
go from Premiere to Photoshop to After Effects, and you
Nice.
can do like the
Yeah,
character animator, character like illustrator, and all that thing. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop. Obviously, it sucks that I have to pay monthly for it, but it's
yeah.
like your one-stop shop, like everything.
I know.
Which I kind of enjoy about it. Because even sometimes like people will be like, "Oh yeah, I'll edit this in Premiere, but then I'll go like color it in DaVinci." I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
why not
Nah.
just,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
guarantee you could probably color it and like this is all, but it's like I always thought like if you're making a movie,
Yeah.
great, go do
Yeah.
that and like DaVinci and like get it right, get your colors right because it's easier to fix those colors on there. But man, if I'm editing like social content or like TikTok content, I don't
Yeah.
need the color grading because like the regular fan doesn't notice that. It's like,
Yeah. They
oh
don't
man, this
care. They
color
don't
grade
care
looks.
either. They don't care either.
They
They
just
don't
want to
care.
see their players on like the feed, and I think I forget the team that I think the A's and MLB did it where they
Oh
posted
yeah,
live
when it was in
footage.
log, right? When it
Yeah,
was
and
in log.
I was like, people don't care about that, but like all the creators are gonna care about that because they're like, why are you guys
That
doing
was
different
really
angles? Stuff?
embarrassing. Wasn't that
Yeah,
not embarrassing?
and they did it. I think they did it twice or like three times, and I'm like, man, like
Is that
one
a
time I can
joke?
be like,
Was it
I
like
it
was
was
it was it
before April. It was before April
before
Fools, so
April
I was like,
Fools?
yeah.
Because it
So
was
I
in
was like,
log, right?
it was in log. So they did it in log, and then they did another
Man,
one in log, and I'm like, once I can
no.
let slide, twice is a little bit too much. You guys know what you're doing, and the
They know what
comments
they're
are
doing.
like turned off. That
They
was
know
like
what they're
another thing.
doing.
Like they have the comments on their page turned off, and I don't know
Yeah,
why
they
that
know.
is for
Well,
professional team. You can't have like your
yeah,
comments turned off.
yeah,
Fans need to be able to relate to you. You know,
yeah.
but
What an A's move though to do.
yeah,
Such an
it's
A's
very
move though.
very
Jeez,
telling of the
man.
franchise. But
Right? Yeah, talk about like
yeah.
having a tough gig. Social engagement. Your team's in where are they in Sacramento and like a minor
Uh,
league ballpark? I
I
think in
think so.
Sacramento, right? Like a
Yeah,
minor league ballpark or something
yeah.
crazy like that.
But yeah,
Wild, man. No, it's yeah, I feel with like video editing, like there's so many like different roles that you're playing. Like you're doing the
mhm.
audio, you're obviously doing the actual editing of the clips, and then you're doing like the color, then you're doing like the transition and like the effects. Like there's so many different hats someone wears when they're actually doing the edit. Like I don't think
Yeah,
it's
it's
kind of
always
crazy when you think about it.
yeah. And I think when I was working like my previous job, I was kind of doing all the video, anything like motion. Like I think I had one of our guys step in and start doing motion, but I was pretty much doing like motion and videos for like our first year. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I'm like the one person doing all this. And then I'd always see like some Nike ad or some friggin' Puma ad or whatnot. And then they have everyone listed in the comments where it's like VFX, this person, editing, this person, coloring,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
person, videos. I'm like,
yeah.
they have like 30 people on there that's done like one video. And it's like,
Yeah,
I'm always like, man, I'm doing this by myself. And it's like, I think it definitely like it brought up like a bunch of like strain, like just
no doubt.
mental kind of like load. But at the end of the day, I'm
Yeah,
like, man, kind of just have to again tie it back into like the why, or kind of why I enjoy what I do. And it's like if I'm doing everything
important.
right now, it's gonna get to a part where I'm only going to be needed to do one thing, and I would know how to do just about everything on the list. So it makes my skills more expandable and like
Mm,
useful, kind of wherever I'm working, I
the dream. The dream.
guess.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
What's
man.
like what's like your dream gig? Is it like the Packers?
Oh man, not working, bro.
Not working.
Not working, man. Um,
That's a
but
good one.
honestly, yeah, I would definitely say the Packers, and I'm also like a Liverpool
Yeah.
fan, so doing
Oh,
content for either the
Liverpool.
Packers or like Liverpool, I think is like
Oh
one of the things that I
man.
would always dream like to
Liverpool
do.
in the Champion League's final, bro.
Yeah, so it's like like I think just working for those, and again, I think all the teams that I follow are like I'm a huge fan of have a big tie into community. Where
Yeah.
Liverpool, I think we are owned by FS, some weird group, but it's like they're so like tied into the community, and everything we do is kind of for our community. And
Yeah.
yes, we have like good players and whatnot, but those players we use them to leverage in the community where you're like, oh, we're gonna send our best player out here to go, like play with like a girl soccer team or play with like a youth soccer team, or we're gonna put them in the community. And there's one of our fans that we have. His name is Isaac, and I forget what it is. He has a medical condition, but we sent like three of our best players to go visit him in school. And now the kid loves to sing, and he will be at our games like singing, and we will like
Oh,
post
nice.
it, and you see that everywhere. It's like there's such a huge tie into like, okay, this is like who we are as a team, and this is kind of
Yeah.
what we want to exemplify. Where it's like, oh yeah, like everyone's like rocking with us, and we know you're gonna love our players and whatnot, but we also want you to love the people that are in our community. We want
Yeah.
you to love the people that support us. We want you to show you the people that also support us. So just kind of just little like all those things is like why I want to work with like I think those kind of teams. But the Rough Riders is like I think the best thing here in kind of like Canada because
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
think in our provinces like everyone's from like a province, but then you have like Alberta, Edmonton, Calgary. If you're in like Ontario, you have your Toronto teams.
Yeah.
You have like the Ottawa team. Like
Ottawa.
everything's kind of in close proximity, so there's no like real beef or like like distinct disdain to
Yeah.
one another. So it's like kind of one of those things. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Is it like Winnipeg that's like the closest rivalry to you guys? Is it
yeah.
Winnipeg?
So Winnipeg's our
Yeah.
rivals. I think I've known it for a bit, but we definitely despise Winnipeg. Like, the football team and us, so
Shout
we
out
definitely despise them. So
shout out Winnipeg or not. Sorry.
yeah. But yeah,
Well,
we
it's a good story,
definitely
man. It's a good story with
thanks.
what you're trying to do because I think we all need good stories these days. So
Yeah, and I think everyone kind of feeds off of that. So it's like I think just making people enjoy like every event and
yeah,
enjoying seeing it while they're scrolling or before they go to bed and
right.
whatnot. I think is a big thing for me where I want people to always like enjoy what they're seeing out of
Yeah,
our accounts or my accounts, and I don't want to have anything that's like just half-assed for people to see.
right.
I want to make sure that you're seeing something, you're seeing like what's proper, and what
Uh,
like can be visually appealing to you. So yeah.
yeah. You're taking the time to do it right.
Yeah, taking the time to do it right. It's
Yeah,
definitely like you don't always have to release everything. Like, oh yeah, I said I'm gonna release this on Tuesday. You can take your time if like you don't have it done by Tuesday properly. You don't just
yeah,
want to edit something and like because at
yeah.
that point you're just
Don't
releasing to release.
don't put it in a log.
Yeah,
Don't put it in a log.
definitely just
We'll
don't put
fix
it in a
that. We'll
log.
fix that real quick. Yeah. You
But
can
yeah,
put a
it's like one of
lot on
those
there.
things where it's like take your time to do it and make sure like you're actually giving your fans and people that come across your page the best content possible.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just going from there.
Yeah, because it's also like a representation of like the team, like your team, the actual team, everyone involved. So
Yeah, so you kind of
it's
want to make
important.
sure that's proper, and then again, your partners are also seeing this, right? So
No
people like
doubt.
partners are attached to your team, and they're always going to be attached to your team. So they want to make sure that they're getting like their content is like being seen, their brand is being seen, their logo is being seen, and
Yeah.
everything has to like look proper and right. So that's like
Right.
one of the main things as well.
Cool, man. Very interesting.
Oh,
Very interesting. Lots of moving pieces, man. I mean,
yeah,
well, we're up against the hour, so I just wanted to say thanks again for coming on. Hopefully you enjoy
hey,
it.
no worries, man. Nah, this was fun, bro. This was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Uh, any final words for the watchers, listeners out there?
Nah, man, I don't really say too much. Again, I'm a very simple guy. I think everybody just create, enjoy what
Yeah.
you're doing. I think the more you love what you do, the more opportunities will kind of come from that.
Mm,
Doesn't matter again what you're shooting. It could be Pee-wee, it could be anything. A little parent at that Pee-wee could be the owner of some brand that you never know that you could just like meet. So again,
yeah.
talk to people, collaborate, have your why, and then always ask questions or always reach out to people. I think that's the best thing about being a creative is it's so you can reach out to anyone and no one's like high and mighty to be able
Yeah.
to like respond or get back to you. So I think again, enjoy what you're doing. Just have a why and yeah, create as much
Love
as
it,
you
man.
can.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, Josh. I'd love to have you back on at some point.
Yeah,
Maybe after the season when you guys
yeah.
win the Grey Cup, you can bring the Grey Cup
that's
into the.
that's the goal, man. I'm trying to get me a ring this year. So
There you go. Get a ring, and then you can retire.
yeah,
It'll be great. Thanks again, Josh. Everyone, thanks for watching, listening. Go check out Josh. Links are in the description of this podcast, and yeah, we shall see you next time. Peace.
appreciate it, man. Thank you.